Welcome back, everybody. We are going to go over the heavy gun build I personally use. This is for PvE and PvP. Highlight's going to be on the PvP side, but yeah, both ways. Most of the guns I use and the armor I use. See you in just a second. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is my first gun I normally use. This is my preferred rolls on my Gauss minigun. 2-shot, weapon speed, 3 intelligence, and stabilizers. You're probably why I use stabilizers. The reason why is the Gauss minigun, when you're fighting PA, at least the old way, technically it's changed now. If you stagger somebody, they're pretty much dead. If you keep that beam going, so I prefer to keep that and that rate of fire. I want that rate of fire as high as it'll go. As long as I hit 110s, I'm okay. Like, that's the main thing. Hit your 110s when it comes to PvP. As far as PvE, this thing just walks through everything. This is honestly is super easy, and I'll show you just a second with this gun. Also, this is my fun gun. This is made for PvP in general. It does okay in PvE. It still does alright, but it's not near as good as the Gauss for PvE or the Holy Fire, in my opinion. But it's really good for PvP. And it's really fun for PvP, to be honest. Like, so. You know, it'll destroy armor quick, and it hurts really, it hurts a lot. That fire rate is important, and you know, to get the explosives, so the fire rate could go up more, but that fire rate's already astronomically high. The explosive gives you a little extra damage, it breaks armor, anti-armor for breaking armor, etc. This is my preferred rolls. I use polish because it doesn't break very often. I usually use gunsmith in my build. So yeah, it breaks armor really fast, and it hurts a whole lot, so good luck taking it, because it's going to be hell. It has a lot of range, too. 181 range is actually really good for a minigun. And last but not least, here's my Holy Fire. This is what I've always used here and there. I've never really been a big fan of big guns, to be honest. But they're fine. They work great. I don't know. I don't really use them that much. I usually use the Gauss or the minigun now if I want to use it. This works in or out of PA, by the way. You don't have to have PA for this to be functional. It hurts just as much as in PA as it does out of PA. The only thing PA gives you, it gives you a little bit more stagger, and it gives you a little bit more, accuracy, I guess you'd say. That's about it. There's really not a massive difference between PA and non-PA heavy guns. Onslaught, obviously, because I don't build the stacks, I use reverse. I use onslaught, like just actual onslaught. I don't use reverse. Obviously, I don't use gunslinger. I don't use gorilla. I use all the onslaught perks, so it stacks up really fast, really quick. So does a massive amount of damage, PvE and PvP wise, no matter which one you do. Alright, when it comes to my PvE and PvP build, they all wear the same exact sun, so every part is the same, except I use calibrated shocks on the legs and gimbal bracers on the arms. Other than that, there's not much difference. Every single roll is pretty much exactly the same. Aristocrats, Intelligence, Sentinel, along with Reflective. This works really well in PvE and PvP wise. It is actually stupid strong in PvE. It actually can be strong in PvP, but the only problem is it's inconsistent. There's times I've been fighting people don't do a lot of damage, or just, which it could pertain to their build, to be fair. It could pertain to their build, it could pertain to their armor. I think all those are factors. And what type of weapon they're using, how much damage are they doing with that weapon, all can make a massive difference. So keep that in mind. But as far as PvE and PvP, it both works really well. You'll stagger people a lot, and pretty much everything will kill itself on it. It works decently in the raid too, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I prefer the raids non-PA because I feel like it works really well with the damage avoidance. So yeah, honestly, this is pretty much my armor I wear. I wear a Vulcan set. I have a T65 set, and it is full Aegis and one reflective. I don't really use it much more because the DR on this is actually pretty high. It's 3928, which is not bad. It's not massively great, but it's not bad. And of course, the energy is super high, 4300 for his Vulcan. Other than that, though, that is literally what I use. Obviously, I use gimbal, I got a jetpack on the chest, and database. Make sure you put intelligence on that helmet because that's the one that's going to be the most useful for you, PvE or PvP wise, either one. This is way more important than anything else you can have. I mean, I guess you could use a VATS accuracy if you're PvE, but I don't really see that being that big of a deal when you can put more damage out and lose a little bit of accuracy, and just all you gotta do is use awareness on your perception in PvE wise, and you're gonna gain it back beyond the VATS accuracy. So personally, that's my personal opinion. That's the way I run mine, and you're free to do yours. But I use intelligence for that extra damage and extra healing, technically too, especially if you're a human. It helps you in healing. If you use a first aid and field surgeon put together, it's going to give you a little bit better healing. Not a massive amount, but it does. So yeah, that's pretty much the armor. That's pretty much everything, and obviously they all have the same rolls exactly. So, and then the overall. All right, let's go over the build real quick. These builds are pretty simple and short and sweet. I'm gonna try to keep it down a little bit. Last video I felt like it went a long time. You know, we're sharing a bunch of knowledge. I don't feel like I don't want y'all to have to watch an entire video to see the build. So we're gonna run through this. Travel pharmacy. I mean, yeah, you have meds on you. Barbarian for the extra DR. Bring the big guns, bullet storm, and tie it wound. Use all those because they're gonna add more damage. You're gonna keep your 110s in PvP, and it's gonna give you more damage output in PvE. No reason not to use it. I'm not tie wound. Excuse me, lock and load. I'm sorry. Tie wound is there for. Yeah, just a little bit of spin out of time. That way you don't have to worry about the minigun, the Gauss mini. Sometimes they take a second to spin up. It's going to make it go faster. That's it. Number Cruncher, because AP cost. Downranger, works for PvP and PvE, obviously both for big guns. Cinematicus, more damage, literally. Skeet Shooter, I use this because in PvP, it keeps my spread a little bit tighter. Tank Killer to ignore more armor. That's it. That's all there is for it. It's just to ignore armor. Ironclad, I run Ironclad in PvP. I use Bullet Shield in PvE. So basically all I do is take Ironclad off and put on Bullet Shield for PvE. That's the only difference as far as this line goes. That's literally it. Through Hiker, you're going to keep goo, you're going to keep quantums, you're going to keep stuff like that on you. Radiation power for that damage bonus, glowing good, because if you're a ghoul, you're going to keep that glow up as much as you can, no matter which side of the spectrum you play on, whether you're PvE or PvP. You need glowing good. Keep that radiation high. Cola Nut, I use quantums. I use colas. So they're always beneficial, obviously. So I always run that. Party Boy, because I use, like, in PvP, I use vodka, I use cranberry moonshine, etc. Things that bring your health up a lot. I always run those just for that extra little bit of, be able to take a little bit more damage. Not much, but a little bit more damage. And then strategy numbers, everybody's mutated. Moral support, you're going to be shooting guns, you don't want to be inaccurate. Keep that ferro meter full. You don't want it to low down and drop to the PvP, like the melee side. It's just not useful with guns. United Ordeal, just because I get special stats, that's it. Stabilize, it's literally just accuracy, that's it. You're going to be free firing a lot in PvP. It's not necessary in PvE. I mean, I guess it could be. I never really use it for PvE that much, so I don't know if it's going to improve your accuracy in bats, but I guess it could. So I mean, that's kind of a personal thing. I use it for PvP, so therefore I use it. Demolition, add more damage. You don't need Grenadier in PvP. PvE really ain't gonna help you a lot unless you're fighting a bunch of ads. So there's no really reason for Grenadier either, but Demolition is gonna get your damage output way higher. Of course, with the explosive minigun or Gauss minigun, they use explosive damage. Mine personally, so Gauss is always going to do explosive damage, so you're just kicking up your damage more. Science, Gauss minigun. Batteries included. Obviously, you're going to be using energy ammo, so yeah, always keep that on you because you don't want it to over encumber you. Pyro, because I do run Holy Fire sometimes, so I keep that on me. That way I can always use it. It just gives me that same amount of increased damage from Science that translates over to Pyros for the Holy Fire. Curator, I use baubles, I use magazines, so yeah, that's an obvious one. And PvE, this benefits a lot too, because if you're gonna run baubles, especially leaders or big guns or whatever, use Curator. There's no reason not to use it. It's gonna make your stuff last longer. PvP, dodgy, 1000% every single time. Obviously, Gunslinger Expert for weak point damage and onslaught stacks. Gunslinger Expert for onslaught stacks or reload. That for range damage to close enemies and +5 max stacks onslaught. Born Survivor, just a little bit more survivability. That's all it really is. And Secret Agent. If you don't feel like you need this, you can use Action Boy or something like that and be fine. Or you could use Gorilla. I mean, you literally could use Gorilla or technically Gunslinger, but I don't. Gunslinger for sure has not been working for Commandos, so I don't necessarily think you would want to use that. However, you can use Gorilla. As far as I know, it does work, but I would take that with a grain of salt, to be honest. Secret Agent, I pop Stealth Boys. If you're in PvP, you're going to pop Stealth Boys more often than not. So, especially if you fight somebody who's actually trying to kill you, don't give them a VATS. There's no reason to. One ongoing, Stagger, and limb damage. Limb damage doesn't matter too much if you're fighting somebody in PA. But the stagger is always a bonus. You stagger somebody, it's pretty much an instant kill shot if you get a good beam on PvP side. And PvE, I mean, limb damage is going to do more damage for you, and you're going to stagger the opponent. So you bet just use it. There's no reason not to use this. This is probably the best card for heavy guns in luck. Period. Clash Freak, I'm always mutated. I have grounded, I have empath, and I suppress them. So I always use Clash Freak just to negate that, the problems. Even though I suppress those, sometimes I don't suppress Skeleton Skin, I don't suppress Talons. Don't have Twisted Muscle no more because it hurts your gun accuracy. But I suppress them just because I do use them. Because if I feel like doing melee that day, I can just pop that serum and I'm good to go. And I'll use Clash Freak just to negate them overall. I may lose a little carry weight, may lose a little endurance here and there. So maybe one intelligence, a couple of like one endurance, a couple of strength. That's about it. Like it's not massive. And if I do, I just suppress them and keep moving. And junk shield because yeah, I mean you ain't got a lot of luck, but it does give you a little bit of DR. It's not super important, to be fair, but I do like running it. You could move that over here and put it on first aid or something like that. That's a personal preference, but that's pretty much that run. And of course, legendary perks, the exact same perks as I use my commando: agility, strength, endurance, intelligence, perception, and taking one for the team. You're always going to get hit in PvP. There's no reason not to. If you're in PvE, you can use follow through, which considering you're using a big gun, I wouldn't use that. I would use take one for team because even in PvE, you're going to get hit. You might always just make sure that damage is always going to be there to take advantage of against something. So I would say use this over follow through. There's not a lot of sneakiness to PA, to be fair. It's just not. Like, they changed that, like, I think it was last season. It's way harder, or way easier to be detected in PA at the same range as somebody not in PA. So if I'm standing, 50 meters from something and you are too, and I'm in PA and you're not PA, they're going to lose track of you faster than me. Like even the PvE side, they're going to lose sight of you before they lose sight of me. As a matter of fact, they'll probably just aggro me more at that point too, to be fair. But yeah, it's just extremely hard to do sneak damage with big guns now. It's doable, it's just not as great. But yeah, that is the build, guys. If you want to take it and run with it, make it your own way, you're more than welcome to. But that is my current PvP and slash PvE without using bats, obviously, build. So yeah, there you go. Now, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is my big gun build for PvE and PvE. Sometimes I do lessen my endurance and move over to luck for the more crit damage, but normally this is what I use, honestly, especially in PvP was. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope you have fun with it. There is other big guns that are usable. Hailstorm being one of them. Rocket launchers with lock-on capabilities are very useful. Fat Mans are really useful, PvE or PvP wise. They do break armor really, really fast. FYI. But yeah, that's it, guys. So have fun with it, and thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.